Thank you so much, Linda, and thank you for all of these history moments that we have been blessed with over this past year as we've taken this journey into our 100th anniversary. It is my delight to welcome into our midst the Reverend Rachel Pryor. Rachel is our Southern California Nevada Conference minister, and she's amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Rachel, come on up. We're so glad you're here.
Good morning. It's good to be here with you all this morning. David has already given me a hard time about taking my first day of vacation to visit a local church, but it was so important for me to spend a Sunday with you this month, Pride Month, in recognition of your decision to become an open and affirming congregation. I want to celebrate that with you and commend you for that good work. And with everything that has been happening in the last couple of weeks, it's even more important for me to be here with you now. I've been thinking a lot about, it's been exactly a year since I began this role, and almost exactly a year ago, I was with our SCNC clergy at our annual gathering. So there are about 300 pastors in this conference, about 120 churches, 125 churches. We cover, our furthest north congregation is in Paso Robles. We go all the way down to Chula Vista, and Clark County, or essentially Las Vegas, Nevada, is also part of our conference. So probably about 100 pastors of those clergy were able to be in attendance. And we met for the first time a year ago, and I spoke a little bit about a report that had just been published a couple of months before that evening. It was this very comprehensive survey on religious change in America, published by the Public Religion Research Institute, or PRRI. You can Google it, 2024 PRRI, Religious Change in America. In 2016, they reported, in 2016, the last time they had done this survey, approximately 3 in 10 people who were leaving their religion, Christianity of all varieties, Islam, Judaism, whatever their background was, 3 in 10 people who were leaving their religion cited negative teaching about or treatment of gay and lesbian people, this is the language of the survey, as an important factor in their choice to disaffiliate. 3 in 10 people. And in 2023, not even 10 years later, that number had risen to 47%. We are in a time of tremendous change in the church, and it is easy to see this as a cup half empty kind of moment and to label it as a decline in the church. But when more and more people are leaving their churches every year because they are sick of hearing religious justification for homophobia, for queer phobia, and discrimination, it's hard for me to mourn that loss. It's hard for me to see that as a negative or harmful change for our churches. So today I've had this story on my mind that I'm a pastor, so I have to just sneak this little sermon in. I've had this story on my mind that also speaks about this time of change, and it's a moment of looking back on history while also looking forward to a future in a time that it seems like it might be difficult to imagine what a positive future could bring. In this story, the nation has been divided into 2. It's supposed to be a nation of God, but ever since its leaders have become obsessed with power, it has been defined by destruction and devastation, vengeance and assassinations. Leaders are rising and falling, fighting and rallying against one another. It doesn't feel like anyone is in control. The kingdom is in chaos. And now a king has been installed, but he and his family members are a hot mess. Sexual assault, endangering his citizens, purposefully putting lives at risk, a tug of war over political power, arrogance, incest, murder, death swirl around the king's family. This is the story of King David. I'm not sure if you had someone else in mind, but I am here to talk about the Bible today. I'm thankful to give credit to the incomparable Austin Channing Brown for giving this story a depth I never could have imagined, and I highly recommend her 2018 sermon, Climbing the Mountain of Injustice. 2018, that's when those words were written. In this story from 2 Samuel, starting around chapter 20, 21, there's a famine in the land, and conveniently, God tells David that the way to end this famine is to sacrifice 7 descendants of David's rival, the former King Saul. So the sacrifice takes place, and that should be the end of the story, but into this mix, Rizpah arrives. Rizpah, I don't know if she's part of your vacation Bible school Bible story summaries. Rizpah is the mother of 2 of these 7 boys. She's a concubine, she's a woman, so she is a nobody. And she climbs the mountain to where the boys have been sacrificed, and she protects their bodies and their bones for months until King David finally repents and gives them an honorable burial, and then the drought comes to an end. So what does this story have to do with being open and affirming? I suspect it has occurred to some of you that it's a little bit late to be coming to the open and affirming stage in 2025. And I'm going to say to you that I think this is precisely the right and the very best moment for you to be making this commitment. The dignity of those who have worked to come to this point, the history, the memorials, the bodies and the bones of those who have sacrificed for the rights of LGBTQ people in this country and around the world is at stake today as that history is being erased. And your entrance into this coalition, this open and affirming coalition at this moment, is on the one hand a backward-looking commitment to say we will not forget and we will honor the dignity and the history and the lives that have brought us to this moment, many of them represented by members of this congregation today. But it is also a moment when I think it is difficult for us to imagine a hopeful future. And I also believe that that kind of imagination is the most important, the most powerful, the most faithful tool that we have as a church, that we bring to our communities. The ability to imagine what could be, even when it's not right in front of us, even when it seems impossible, even when people are working directly against that imagined future. Your open and affirming covenant is a kind of imaginary ideal, right? Of a church where all are truly welcomed and embraced and supported for who they are. No church is perfectly like that, but every church can strive to be that kind of a place. And every church can model that kind of welcome for our wider community. And if this very weekend, this summer of resistance, isn't a moment for a church to speak up and witness to that kind of welcome, I don't know what year would have been the right year. So I want to say congratulations to you all. Thank you so much for being a part of our conference. You are one of our strongest supporters. Your clergy are involved serving on committees and planning teams and conference boards. You may not realize how important you are to us, but you are a church that has meant a lot and continues to mean so much to our conference. And I want to thank you for your ministry and thank you for the opportunity to be with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Rachel. And